very much, Glenn. Now you keep those names in the back of your mind. James S. Farrell, George Moore. You're going to hear those names one more time before the day's over. Okay? Um, our next speaker will be Mr. Alan Staub, who has tremendously worked hard with Norma Jean Howell here to get all of this put together. I think we owe them a hand of appreciation for all the hard work they've done. And Alan, I think you're representing you and Norma Jean. If you'll come forward, let's give him a hand of appreciation.
Thanks, Dr. Joe. Wow, Glenn, that was wonderful. If there was a dry eye in the house, I don't know why. This is the wilderness that they described in that beautiful letter. And when we talk about preserving history, wow, that's it. I'm here representing a group of the descendants of these fine people that have dedicated ourselves now to trying to preserve the structure of the church, to preserve the history of the people that lived here, and the quality and the character of the lives of the kind of people that Glenn just talked about. As you know, there is no active congregation for this church any longer. And in the absence of loving care, any structure, no matter how well built over time, will fade. We owe a tremendous debt to Norma Jean Howell and her parents, Marlon Mooney, that over the last decades have taken it upon themselves to, at their own expense for almost all of that time, to do the kind of work that's been required to keep the structure. Betty Mooney, your family has contributed so much over the years. The painting of the structure the last time that it was painted, which I'm sorry to say has been quite a while. We have formed a group that we call the Friends of Mount Calvary Church and Cemetery. And again, our mission is to try to get as many of the descendants of people that are buried in the cemetery here and that were part of this congregation to join us in, yes, donating money when you can so that we can afford things like, painting the church and hopefully someday we'd like to have a sign over the cemetery entrance that actually says, Mount Calvary Cemetery. We have lots of dreams, but right now, we're getting there a little bit at a time. So I just wanted to say that anyone that is interested, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It could be time. It could be a little money. It could be phone calls to someone that you know that's a descendant of someone here that might be willing to help us in this endeavor to try to preserve not just, again, the structure and keeping the grass mowed, but the stories like Glenn just said to us. What a wonderful treasure that is. Photographs. We had a photograph of the Minor family this morning that was taken must have been sometime in the 1870s, maybe the 1880s. And almost everybody in that photograph are buried here. And it was an Easter photo, and the young women were in their Easter dresses, and I see them when I mow. And when I'm edging around the stones, it's hello Rachel. I know Rachel. She died when she was 17 in the 1880s from rheumatic fever, and next to her is Albert, who died from typhoid as a teenager. There's all these stories, and all these are people. It's not just a graveyard. There's so many lives that are represented by this. So anyway, just wanted to say that anybody that is in a position to help with it, with your time, with your money, with your contacts, we would sincerely appreciate it. And that's it. So I've made a simple website, mountcalvaryfriends.org, mtcalvaryfriends.org. You'll find information there about the kind of projects that we'd like to do and what kind of help we're looking for. You'll find Norma Jean's address if you'd like to mail us something. And that's it. So again, thank everyone for coming. Wow, what a great day, great weather. Thank you, whoever is responsible for this wonderful day. And thank you all for coming and helping us share it.
And thank you, Alan, again, for all the hard work that you've done. you sort of got in on the tail end of it. I think you came over to the museum and archives working on your family history and found you didn't realize that the Moonies were from around here until you got to digging into your family history.
Sorry, I have to say one thing.
Please. It's on.
This wonderful Calvin Lee Mooney that he mentioned is my great-great-grandfather, and his son, Thomas Mooney, was caught making moonshine here in Shelby County in 1900. So he left an honorable trade. So he left in the middle of the night and hopped on a train and ended up in Texas, Dublin, Texas, where any good Irishman should end up. And so my branch of the Moonies grew up in Texas, and my son and my daughter were born in Texas. And when we moved back to Birmingham, because we had been transferred here many years ago, we had no idea that we had connections to Alabama. And now we end up living 20 minutes from the homestead where my great-great-grandparents and people of such fine character like Calvin Lee Mooney and all of the others. Anyway, just wanted to add that little bit there. Thanks for the Calvin Lee Mooney. And they're buried here. And you'll not be surprised to know that Calvin Lee Mooney married Elizabeth Seal.
Okay. Before we have this next person come up, Norma Jean, do you have anything you would like to say? I mean, you've worked so hard on this. Just thank you all for coming.
I think we should give her all a hand.
Yeah. She's been over, she lives in Alabaster, near where I live, and so every Thursday I think she's been over with some new pictures, and she's got all those, how many pictures out of?
I've got 8 children and the original 13 moons.
8 out of 13 Moonies, plus there's a picture of Calvin Lee and Elizabeth Seal Mooney in there. If you haven't seen the group picture, please go in after the program and look at it, please.
And if you have any old photos of any of the people that were part of this congregation, please allow us to copy them. And we'll build an archive again of this so that everyone can share them.
Great. You know, just as a suggestion, the Calera Presbyterian Church that's on the State Historic Register that you've got pictures of, they have on the wall hung pictures.
It's a great idea.
And theirs happen to be of Calera, and you can do it. I mean, this is just a suggestion. What Norma Jean did is great. It's really great.
It's a lot of digging.
Yes, a lot of work, but we appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Albert Snow is with the Sons of the Confederacy in Gardendale, and you're going to recognize these other guys with guns and all this stuff here today, aren't you? Okay, would you please come
Now they're
forward?
going to rob us.
They wouldn't get right.
Not
here
for
to
this
rob.
fight.
Even though sometimes it might seem like that. My name's Albert Snow. I'm with the Captain Mortimer Jordan Camp, Alabama Division, Sons of Confederate Veterans. It's an honor to be here today. Standing over here is David Hoagland. He's our camp commander. David, come on over here, and I don't think his pistol's loaded for this afternoon. It is an honor to come out here today, and you know what I want to talk about a little bit is why are you here? What is it that motivated you to get up and come out here to a cemetery to put up a plaque like this? You know, we're from Alabama, and I'm proud to say that. You see, I get choked up like this because I'm emotional about Alabama. I love this state. Couldn't live anywhere else. But you know, we come here to honor these men. And as a Sons of Confederate Veterans, our job is to defend the name of the Confederate soldiers' good name. And so I want to speak a little bit about that today. Two men out here that we know of, very Private Calvin Lee Mooney and James W. Minor. Calvin Lee Mooney is the 29th Alabama Infantry, and Mr. Minor of the 31st Alabama Infantry. Probably two of the most storied infantry units in Alabama. Lord of mercy, both of them marched off in the summer of 1861 with over 1,100 men fit for duty. In 1865, both regiments, less than 100. The bravery we've already heard of here this morning was common in the Confederate Army. And I don't want to detract from the Northern Army. They were brave soldiers as well. The soldiers of World War II, First World War, Vietnam, all the soldiers of America have been brave men. They went out and they fought for what they thought was right and for what they believed in. But you know, we gathered here today to honor this cemetery, to put up this monument, to let people know that there are people that still care. You know, I won't speak long, but I've had so many good speakers before me. But I'm reminded of a story in the Bible. That's in the book of Joshua. And here the children of Israel are about to cross over the Jordan into the promised land. And they had been wandering for 40 years in the wilderness. And here they are about to march into the promised land to take what God has said is theirs. And the river is swollen. They can't get across. But God told them what to do. They marched down the river. And as the priest set foot in the river, the waters parted. And they walked across on dry ground. This is a separate time for when they were leaving Egypt. This is a separate time from the Red Sea incident, as they were crossing over the Jordan. But God had given them instructions before this. He said, when the leaders of each tribe go into the midst of the waters will abate. And you will pick up a stone, and on the other side, you will create a monument. Each tribe leader, the leader of each tribe will pick up a stone, and on the other side make a monument. And at the end, in the future, when children come up and say, what is the meaning of these stones? You can say that this is where the children of Israel crossed over on dry ground. Well, I ask you today, what are the meaning of these stones? What is it that these people mean to you? These two men, and possibly a third, men of the 29th and 31st Alabama Infantry, I don't think we can understand what they went through. I don't think we can understand how hard life was for them. And you know what? Many of these people buried up here didn't ask the government for anything. They didn't come up and ask the government for handouts like people do today. You know what they did? They rolled up their sleeves and they went to work after the war. And they built a lot of what we have today. But I just want to say, the stones here that represent these men and all those that are buried up there should become emotional to you as it does to me. Because those are why we're here. Those individuals. I wish I knew their stories. But we don't. Not all of them. But I just ask you today, what is the meaning of these stones? And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Albert. We appreciate that. Our next speaker is Leanne Wolford. We've been working Leanne to death. I think she deserves